crew of the USS Gettysburg has just surrounded the first pirate mothership to ever be caught in the Gulf of Aden. It's an old, rusted fishing boat, but the counter-piracy team knows it can contain a deadly arsenal.
We have our guns pointed at them. I mean, the first thing you're doing is making sure they're not going to pull out a weapon on you. So I've got my eye in the scope trying to steady my weapon while the rib's shaking and, make sure that I'm not going to hit my buddy who's right next to me. Just keeping your eye and knowing that you might have to pull the trigger, just being ready for that.
We're seeing people coming out of the pilot house. They're climbing down the sides of the ship. The first thing you're thinking is, this is a pretty big ship. This is a lot bigger than anything else we've ever even had anything to do with. It's big enough to hold plenty more people than what was sitting on the forecastle. Your heart starts pumping twice as fast because you have no clue what to expect once you step on board here. I'm locked, loaded, I'm trained on every movement that moves.
Pretty much I have my scope on the door, the entrance to the cabin, making sure nobody's going to pop out of there and shoot one of my friends.
Knowing that more armed pirates might be hiding or that the mothership could be booby-trapped, the team continues to board.
I take one step on board, and it's just grimy. It stinks.
There's just thousands of roaches, cockroaches, bugs. I mean, I don't know how they lived on this ship. It was disgusting.
And as soon as I cut around the side of the ship, I start eyeballing everybody, trying to get a good idea of what everybody's thinking. I look down, and here's an RPG launcher sitting on the forecastle. I talk over to Mr. Cook. I'm like, hey, I got an RPG launcher over here.
Dave, Captain, let's bring the suspected pirates back to the ship. I want to bring them back for your time. Let me know when you're ready to go.
As night falls, Captain Brown wants the pirates transported to the Gettysburg as soon as possible, while the boarding teams continue to scour the mothership for weapons.
Up on the front of the ship, there's looks like a little porthole. I think there's like 18 different guns that were just sitting down there stacked up.
We find AK-47s, one SAR-80, several clips of ammunition for the AK-47s, and this is just like a cache of weapons that they have up under their deck.
6 hours in, the search brings more surprises.
Something started moving at first, and this dog rat, it's what the name we named it as a team, is the dog rat, is the biggest rat I've ever seen in my life. Jumped down, landed on the floor, looked like he turned around and flipped me the bird and ran away.
And, that's no lie, it really was the size of a dog.
The dog rat had to be at least 15, 20 pounds of just solid rat.
The search lasts all night, and this time, the teams are confident their case against the pirates will stick.
I think we've got enough to prosecute. I mean, we found a lot of stuff over there. I think we're gonna be able to keep these guys.
Hell yeah, we got enough to prosecute. We got weapons. We got a merchant. That's a witness. Yeah.
And this time, they're right. Task Force Command orders the Gettysburg to take the pirates to port, where formal charges will be filed.
We ended up dropping the 17 suspected pirates off in Mombasa, Kenya. Kenya agreed to prosecute. This is the single largest turnover of suspected pirates at one time.
Mission accomplished. As far as I'm concerned, we got a mothership. What else do we need?
Wow. Amazing.
Hey, Jamie, looks like I'm picking up something here on the flare.
10 days after apprehending the mothership, Seahawk pilot Jamie Powers and co-pilot Justin Davis are on a routine patrol when a small blip appears on their radar.
It looks like I got a small contact, about 330, about 15 miles. Should be just off the nose.
We go and check everything out. Everything's worth a second look out here.
Let me start to see if I can get it on FLIR.
The Hilo's FLIR camera picks up an image of a small boat moving at high speed about 100 miles off the Somalian coastline.
Definitely a skiff. Seeing 2 outboard motors. Looks like about 6 people on board. 7, I can't really tell yet. Skiff's about 20 feet long. Looks like it's got yellow and black stripes. And it's looks like a Tony the Tiger type skiff, doesn't it? It's a good nickname, Tony the Tiger.
This thing definitely looked like a pirate right off the bat, no doubt.
They had what looked like ladders hidden underneath some orange tarps, and they weren't waving at us, which that's always our biggest indication. All the fishermen, all the guys who are friendly, they all wave at us. They love seeing us out there. Pirates, on the other hand, hate seeing us out there.
Yeah. Looks like these guys are heading toward the IRTC. Yeah, they're about 10 miles away from the transit corridor right now.
The IRTC is the internationally recommended transit corridor, a major shipping lane near Somalia that has become known as Pirate Alley.
So for a skiff that size, that small, to be that far out and be that close to the transit corridor there, that's pretty suspicious in and of itself.
As KTO looks like they're proceeding towards the IRTC. They certainly look like pirates. We just made a low pass. Saw a couple of look like ladders covered up by some tarps. Based on what we're seeing, I'd recommend we interdict. They definitely fit the description of pirates.
I know that I'm going to be the boarding officer on this, so I was on the bridge, fully dressed out, just waiting for us to stop the skiff so we could start the boarding. And that turned out to be a lot more challenging than it normally is.
What transpired after that was a little bit of a cat and mouse game. We hovered in front of it, flew circles around it, pointed our weapons right at him, trying to get him to stop.
Hey, Cat, it looks like these guys just put their other outboard in the water and starting to pick up speed, changing course now to heading the south. Yeah, it looks like they're making a run for the Somali coastline at this point.
Moments later, the Gettysburg joins the pursuit with its siren blaring.
Everybody in the world knows the sound of a police siren, and that's our first indication to get the vessel to stop. Let's go ahead and sound 6 short claps in the ship's whistle.
Despite the warnings, the skiff suddenly makes an aggressive move.
The skiff had turned very sharply toward the ship, and one of the individuals had been bobbing their head up and down, and when he came up the last time, he had an RPG in his hand, and I think that he had intentions of shooting that RPG at Gettysburg, which would have been a fatal mistake for him.
But the pirates quickly smarten up and decide to run rather than face the warship's firepower.
474, Captain. You have permission to conduct warning shots across the bow.
Copy that. Warning shots authorized. Hey, lawyer, we just have permission to put a couple across the bow there. Make sure we're all set. Make sure Betsy's ready to rock and roll. Lock and load. Fire one ready. Looks like they didn't stop on the first set of warning shots. Going around for a second pass. Good. Nice job. Cab doesn't look like those ones had any effect on them, so we'll come around here and put a couple more close to them. All right, Lloyd. Permission granted. Fire one ready.
And each time they slowed down, and as soon as the fire stopped, they kept going. This told me that these were pretty serious pirates. They knew, what our tactics were, willing to take a chance that we weren't going to shoot them.
The pirates risk the warning shots, believing that the Navy will not use deadly force to stop them. And if they reach the Somali territorial waters, the Navy will be required to call off the pursuit.
She just kept running. I knew that, okay, that's not going to work. We're going to have to do something else different.
Coming up.
Let's go ahead and come up to 30 knots. Right full rudder.
The captain attempts a never-before-seen tactic to end the chase.
I'm sure that they were sitting and going, what are these crazy Americans doing?